Okay. What's good, everybody? Welcome to the chat. Like I said in my promo, if you have any questions, just drop them in the box. Literally, Lil Main, what's good, man? Okay. Drop your questions in the chat and I'll answer them as they come in. But appreciate y'all for coming out here. Aaron, my question for my nephew going into grade 10. How did you know track or BB? I'm assuming that's basketball. My nephew was on chat too. Try to ask. Cool. So for RL, basically track chose me. Not even gonna lie to you. I was always fast, like I played basketball, I did track, I did football, I did soccer. Soccer was my main thing, honestly. But um the thing that was gonna get me to the next level at the collegiate level, get a full ride scholarship down to the States, was gonna be track and field. So that's what I stuck with. And that's what I showed the most potential in. So that's what I went with. So honestly, it chose me. I'm 6'1", so I'm tall by like a normal guy standard, but for the NBA, you got to be like super, super tall in order to make the NBA. So once I knew that, and I didn't have a really good chance of being in the NBA, I stuck with track, and I ended up here. So I hope that answers your question, RLLR. And tell your nephew, don't be shy, man. I don't bite. I'm friendly, answer all the questions. So look up to all the, young kids that are out here trying to run track. Maz Adnan, what's up, Aaron? What is the correct way of running the 200 dash? How should you hit the float phase in any drills or workouts for it? All right, so everybody has their own philosophies. Every coach has their own philosophy for running the curve. In college, I used to get out really aggressively, like the first 60, and then float between 60 to 90, and then off the curve, I hit it really hard and give everything I have all the way to the finish line. But honestly, what I do now, there's no real float phase. Like my coach told me, it's pretty much an all-out sprint. You just have to exert your energy in certain spots differently. So I get out I drive as long as I can, because you're using centrifugal force to push you all the way down the curve. So I try to drive to at least 40 if I can. 50 is really nice if I can do it, but you want to let your body gradually come up. But I get to at least 40, and then from there, I'm maintaining what I have. So it's not really floating, it's maintaining. Like you don't want to come off the gas, you want to still be hitting it, right? And then when I get to the top of the turn is when I really heat. My coach tells me to run like a second 120. So there's no real float phase. I'm really just exerting my energy in different spots, if that makes sense. I'm in the best day of my life. Okay. Is Paris 2024 your last Olympics? Namdi Avaz, honestly, probably. I'm 30 right now, so I'll be 32 in 2024. I think I'll be 36 in 2028 in LA, and that would be dope, man, to go to LA. I'm assuming it's going to be at the Coliseum, which is where I went to the college at the USC. So that would be really poetic to end my Olympic career there. But 5 Olympics, man, I don't know how many people have done that, and honestly, I don't know if I'm gonna be running that long, to be honest. So Paris, I take it year by year. Honestly, I'm not gonna say it's my last one for sure, but it would be a good place to stop, honestly, and probably do another world champs after that, and then reevaluate year by year how much longer I want to do this. ID IDK says, do you know any track athletes in real life? I don't know if that's supposed to mean. Of course I do, man. Like these are my colleagues, these are my peers, these are the people that I see every day. Like my training partners that you see in some of my videos, we chop it up every day. These are my people I go to war with every day of practice. The people I see on the circuit, even the people I race against, I'm cool with pretty much everybody. I've been in the game for a while. I'm an 8-year vet on the pro circuit, so a lot of the people I know and I'm familiar with and I'm cool with. So yeah, these are the people that I know in real life. Cam the hurdler says, how do you run relaxed? I'm in 10th grade and I'm trying to learn. Honestly, it's a skill, because in track, especially if you're a sprinter, I don't know what your event you're in, but it says Cam the hurdler, so I'm going to assume a sprint hurdle. it's hard because you have people around you who are trying to fly right by you and you're trying to go as fast as possible and you want to exert as much energy and force as you can, but you have to be, controlled. Like you can't just go out there and run because you're gonna not pay attention to your technique. Like you got to really focus in and slow the race down and let it come to you. Focus on your technique, everything that you're doing, go through the motions, make sure that you're hitting your zones and doing exactly what your coach told you and your cues and all that. So you have to slow it down in your mind, but still be able to exert as much energy as you can for you to go all the way as fast as you can. So it's a weird dynamic. It's hard to explain. It's like a weird feeling that you can slow yourself down in your mind, but still go as fast as possible. But if you ask anybody that you've ever seen run fast, their PR races, and ask them if it felt hard, they'll say it felt easy, and they always feel like they can go faster. And that's because they slowed it down in their mind and they just hit their zones really well. And so they took care of business up top, and that translated to your bottom. So you got to figure out a way to do that. I don't know. It's tougher than it sounds. I don't even know how to say that first name, but Bartholomew the Seventh. Can you show us the medal? I can. So I'm assuming you mean the gold medal. Got this baby right here in my trophy case. You feel me? So you can't really see that. Put the light on it. This is supposed to be like tree bark, I guess. So, Oregon with all the trees and all that. And then the back, it's engraved Aaron Brown, 4x100 meter men, Canada, Oregon, United States of America. So, gold medal, world championships. If you haven't seen my 4x1 reaction video, go check that one out. It's worth the watch. I'm showing out there, celebrating all that. But like I said in the video, that was my last time flexing. So I'm on to the next. Trying to add to the collection still, but go check out that reaction video if you haven't seen it. Okay, what else we got? Vanchi Choudhury. I am 14. My 100-meter PB is 11:77. It's pretty good. Keep working. Keep running hard. Eric Godless says, "Hey Aaron, just want to congratulate you on your success. We went to high school together. God bless. Keep running." What's your real name? I'm curious. If you went to Birchmount, well, first of all, thank you, appreciate it. But I'm curious who this is. Can't really make your profile bigger, so if you're still in the chat, let me know. I'm 5'4". Okay, well, I'm 6'1". How much does weightlifting matter in sprinting? It matters a lot, but you don't want to overdo it. You definitely need to build strength, but at the same time, you want to maintain some level of flexibility. So you don't just be all muscle, all strength. You got to be able to hit your angles in sprinting. So that's really key. But you have to be able to apply a certain amount of force in the ground in order to run certain times. So weight training helps you do that because you get stronger by replicating the same movements that you do when you're sprinting. And if your coach is good at putting the program together, they'll base it around exactly what you need. And you don't always have to be like a weightlifter, like lifting the heaviest stuff, right? Like you got to do what's suited to you. And that's why I always tell people like I'm not a coach, because I don't want to just give someone a generic workout and then have them go out and do it and be like, well, what works for me might not work for someone else, because I'm 6'1", 185, and my body type's different than other people. So you got to have a coach that tailor a weight program for you. But yes, it definitely is important to sprinting. How do you stay calm on race day? Have a race in a month and I need some help. Ivanue 427. That's a great question. Staying calm on race day, man. I really just get in my zone and I follow my routine. So when you feel familiar and do the same things over and over, that's when you really feel comfortable with what you're doing, right? So I do the same things over and over when I follow my routine, and that's the best way that I can stay calm, is knowing that I've been familiar, right? So no matter where I am in the world, whether it's down the street in Florida or overseas in Europe or in Africa or in Asia, it doesn't matter, because I'm doing the same things over and over and over. So when you replicate the same process, it feels the same and you feel comfortable with it because you're like, okay, I've been here and I've done it before. It's the same warm up, it's the same cool down, it's the same stretches. It's the same. Well, it's not going to be the same food because there's different food all over the world, but you want to get at least something that's close to the same. And if you can, you could bring some stuff over with you so that at least you know you have that to bank on, and that's going to be the same. Right? So like I like to bring my supplements over because I don't know what's going to be available over there. I like to bring my same workout equipment, my rope, my balls, all that stuff, my massage gun. Um, so at least that's similar. So as much as possible, stay with the same routine, and that's how you stay calm. And then really just tell yourself, especially when you go there to compete, man, just say this is entertainment. Like for me, I'm a professional runner, so I've been doing this for forever. I've been running track for so long. So much of my life has been dedicated to running track. So I'm just saying, like, I've been here before. This is what I do. This is what I get paid to do. Just go out there and do it and have fun, just like I did when I was a little kid. And don't put too much expectations on it. Don't focus on what can go wrong. Focus on what can go right. Um, Nambiabaz, please, since you called Gatlin, do you know if he is writing a memoir soon? I believe so. Gat's one of my good guys. That's my dog, man. I still look up to him, still talk to him. I actually just was at dinner the other day with him, and we did an escape room with the wives on Friday. So yeah, that's a good friend of mine. I could definitely ask, but as far as I know, he's got a lot of stuff in the works ever since he's retired. So I definitely think he's coming on with that. So stay tuned for his book. Literally, Lane, what do you think has been your biggest Achilles heel in your pro career? Man, biggest Achilles heel. I think I've been really consistent at a really high level, but my Achilles heel has been raising my game in the biggest races, like I'll be good and consistent enough to make the finals, but being able to be at my absolute best in PR and run those deep times that'll get you on the podium has been my Achilles heel, and that's my biggest challenge so far. Um, Definitely something that I've been working on and will continue to work on and will never stop. I have my reactions to my world championship races coming soon, so guys, stay tuned for that. That's coming out soon. Um, but I'm going to be talking about that in that video where I'm just really focused on trying to be at my best in the biggest moments because that's the one thing that's missing for me. Being in the race in the finals is great, but you don't want to just make it there. You want to get there and mix it up for those medals, and that's been my biggest challenge so far. So working on that, work in progress. Namdi Avaz, will you post Eugene and Trials vlog videos? So I don't have one for Trials, but I do have one for Eugene. I have one for the 4x1 like I mentioned earlier, so go check that one out if you haven't seen it already. And the 100 and 200 ones are coming up shortly, so stay tuned for those ones. I got a lot of content coming out. I did travel vlogs for Budapest and Monaco as well, so you know, 4 videos in the works right now. It's just me that does this. So I film, I edit, I post, I ideate. I make the whole structure of the video. So it takes me some time, and like, cause I'm still a father, I'm still a husband, I'm still a full time athlete. So I can't just create like I want to, and it takes me some time. But I promise you, it's on the way. It's coming. So stay tuned for those reaction videos and those vlog videos coming out soon. Um, is 11.5 fine for a sophomore in high school? Baki verse. Yeah. I mean, my second year, my freshman year in high school, I ran 11.4 at my best. And the next year I came down all the way to 10.7, but that's because I joined a track club. So when I was actually in high school, I ran 10.9 and broke the officer record then. It's since been broken, but back then I had it. And then from there, I joined the track club because I'm like, okay, I ran faster just by actually practicing. So I want to see how fast I can go if I actually ran club track. And then I got down to 10.7, and that's from there I actually took it seriously. So yeah, 11 fine is great. You just got to keep working. Got to get with a track club if you're not already with one. That's definitely my number one recommendation. If you haven't seen my 6 tips for beginners video, definitely check that one out. It's one of my most popular videos. Helped a lot of newbies in track get their mind right and some beginner tips. So I don't know where you're at in your track and field career, but if you are not with the club, that's my number one tip for you. A coach will look at you and it'll make a world of a difference going from not ever having proper coaching to have one, and you getting that running technique and actually learn how to come out of blocks. Trust me, that will take you to the next level. All right. Bartholomew the Seventh says, "What's your thoughts on distance running?" I'm a sprinter, so naturally I'm not a big fan of distance running, but I think it's cool to watch, especially when there's heavy hitters in there. One of my favorite runners to watch is my teammate Mohamed for Canada, just because of his attitude, like his go get it attitude. I know he's going to go out there and chase it, and he's going to try and lead the front. And if he dies, but he's going to go for it no matter what. So I love that attitude, especially in a long distance race like that. I give him much respect, and they're dedicated. They go out there and do those miles every day and day out, running all kinds of crazy miles. I can't even imagine that. So much respect to all the distance runners out there. Um, but yeah, I'm gonna stick to sprints. I don't know. Says, who is your favorite pro sprinter? Um, I don't have one now because those are my contemporaries. So I don't really have a favorite pro sprinter, but growing up, my favorite sprinters, I always looked up to Donovan Bailey. I like Tyson Gay. Obviously, everyone like Usain Bolt, watching him break records. But I was a big Johan fan, so it's always cool now to race him and be uh, going toe to toe with him. Yeah, I really like Allison Felix as well. So I've said that before. She's one of my favorite runners to watch, and someone that I looked up to and still do. She's a goat in the game. Shelly Ann Fraser Price, definitely got to throw her out. She's a great person, cool person to hang around, really funny, but also an amazing athlete, one of the best sprinters ever, male or female. So big shout out to her. Yeah. Michelson Zephyrin, how do you deal with stress before a meet? Oh, I just asked that question. Let me scroll back up. I deal with stress before a meet. That's a good question. Honestly, I just like I said earlier, you stick to routine so you feel comfortable, you feel like you're in your zone and that you're not in unfamiliar territory. Because when you do something for the first time, you feel uncomfortable and like you're unsure of yourself, and you really have to be confident when you step on the line, especially as a sprinter, because if you're not confident up here, man, it's not going to translate down there, and you might as well not even line up, man. You're going to get smoked. So I try to stick to my routine as much as I can. And, I take my mind off the track, man. Like I grind all day long at the track, and I do everything I have to do to take business on the track. And as soon as I step off, I try to switch off. I take that track hat off and put a hat on. Like I said, I'm a husband, I'm a father, and I'm a content creator. So I go into my hobbies. I do my content creation stuff. Everything you see on my channel is all me. So I make all the captions and all the edits and posting, all that. All that's me. So I really disconnect from track, because back when I was a rookie and I was younger, man, I used to be obsessed about track, and like I think it was too much. You need balance. So it helps to de-stress by taking your mind off it and having other hobbies to distract you from it. So whenever I'm overseas, especially at the championships, I always have really good Netflix series. In World Championships, Eugene, I had Stranger Things, so I was knocking that out. And as soon as I got off the track, I just threw on Stranger Things, and my mind instantly took off all the pressure and stresses of each round and who's my next race, what lane I got, blah blah blah. All that went away because I'm focused on this Netflix episode. So definitely recommend getting some hobbies and some stuff to take your mind off it to help you um, deal with the stress of track before a meet. Satoshi Sinichi? Satoshi Sinichi. I like that name. Do you have any goals for 2023 season? Yes. If you see my goals for the 2022 track and field season video, I said my goal is to be on the podium in an individual event at the World Championship in Eugene. If you watched, obviously, I did not get that accomplished, but that does not mean I'm giving up on that goal. I'm just pushing it to another year. All right. So I'm going to reflect, see what held me back, what I need to do. And like I said earlier, one of my Achilles heels so far has been able to raise my game in the finals. So I'm going to do everything I can to make sure that I do that next year. And that's going to be my goal for next year: run more sub 10s, more sub 20s, be more consistent, lower my PRs. But obviously, the biggest goal for me is that individual medal, and then defending our world championship relay medal. So, relay gold, I should say. um, what else we got? Air Godness, Rip Andre Hamilton, of course. Rip Andre Hamilton, my boy. When did you first go sub 12 in the 100? I first went sub 12. I think my first race in ninth grade. Um, I'd never known. I ran track when I was younger, but it was like no blocks. It was just basketball shorts, basketball shoes, and you just ran as fast as you can. And it was all about winning. The clock didn't even matter. So I would just run, and I don't know any of the times I ran as a kid. The first time I actually paid attention to the time was in ninth grade because people asked me my time. Like I ran the prelims and I won, and that's all I cared about. I'm like, oh yeah, I won my race. And they're like, oh yeah, you got another race later. What was your time in the first round? And I told them it was like, I think it was like 11:06. And they didn't believe me because they're like, there's no way you ran 11:06 in your first race with no form, no. And I did a standing start because I didn't even know how to use blocks. I didn't know track even use blocks. I didn't watch track before that. And so yeah, that was my first time going sub 12 was just by accident, I guess, just by lining up and running. Um Go appreciate that, Chris Patel. How did you know to go b-ball or track for my nephew lurking? I thought I answered that one already. Yeah, that was the first question I answered. So I don't know. Did you miss that one? I'll tell you again. It's basically just because I fell into track. Like track chose me, and I got into track. Um, Basically because that's where my opportunity was to go to the next level, and that's all I was worried about at that point. When I was younger, I didn't really know about colleges and all that stuff. I didn't think about that. I was young and naive. But as I got older, and people started telling me about opportunities that were presented to me, and I kept getting faster. They say you can go out in the States to the NCAA. I was like, yeah, I definitely want to do that. And I got to mention Streamline Athletes. It's a sponsor of mine. They definitely are a great tool for young athletes who are looking to go pro, or sorry, who are looking to go to the next level and run in college. Definitely check out Streamline Athletes. It says you're grade 10 at St. Catharines, so that's a perfect age. Check them out. It's a website full of recruiters, so they'll look at you. You can fill out your profile, um, fill out all your stats, and you can get connected to colleges and all that stuff. And I made videos about these, so you could check out my whole college recruiting playlist on my profile if you're looking to get into that. But I definitely shout out Streamline. That's something that I would love to have when I was back in high school. But long story short, I took the hard path to finding my way in track and field. Just because I had to have people in my corner tell me about the opportunities when a website like Streamline will connect you with colleges and find your best fit. Yeah. So, uh, literally, Lomain, Aaron, you ever watch Race Take? Yeah, I watch Race Take a lot, and I've actually seen you in the stream, so it's kind of cool that you're in my stream now. Shout out to Race Take. I think he just does a great thing for the sport. We need more of that, more track content out there, grow the track culture. And that's what I try to do with my stuff, try to add to the track culture because all the other sports, the big sports, have their culture, man. And if we want to grow our sport like everyone says we do, we have such a great sport. But people need to know, like, we have dope people in it, like the characters, let them see who we are behind the scenes. And we're sprinters. So we're on the track for 10 seconds, 20 seconds, and you can't really get to know us then, right? So the more track content we have out there, the better. But yeah, I definitely watch and support Ray's Take. I shouted them out actually in the end of my reaction video on the 4x1 when I was talking to the coach with the caps, Coach Lamont, when he was talking crazy about him, about us in his live. And Anson got his get back for me. But yeah, I watched Ray's Take. LOL Hag, why do you enjoy running track? Man, I enjoy it because it's the pursuit of getting faster, man. Like just being able to follow a passion, set out a goal, and see how fast you can push the human body. Like, okay, I ran this. Now let me see if I could top it. And you're competing against other people. It's very primal. The Olympics is such an old sport. It's one of the old sports in the world. So it's like it goes back to like the old days. Where it's just like lining up and seeing who's faster, who's got the advantage, and asserting your dominance over somebody. Like knowing like I could burn you if I wanted to. I could line up and I could beat you down to the track. Like taking it back to those young days when you just race to the flagpole, like that. Those I don't know, man. That's what's cool about track to me. And also trying to travel the world. That's the biggest perks. Is I've seen so many different countries and been in so many different parts of the world just from track and field. So that's what I enjoy. Kristen, how about a 37 flat second or under 30 seconds for France 2024? Better yet, Worlds next summer for France. You're saying for us. Okay. In France, in Paris. So about to say, I thought you were cheering for Team France, but yeah, man, on 30 seconds or under 30 seconds, man, that's legendary stuff. That's, top two all time. Yeah, if we can get down to that territory, we'd be immortalized forever. I mean, that's always the goal, is to see of how fast we can push it. We're gonna get Andre back at his best. He wasn't quite there this year. I'm only gonna get faster. You would think theoretically. Jerome should get faster theoretically. Brendan's starting to get back into his old form, and he'll get faster. So as long as we continue to get faster individually in our open events, and then we work on our chemistry and our handoffs and all that stuff, we'll get really close to that. I'll say that. That's definitely our ceiling. I don't know. We ran 37:48, so that's quite a bit of ways down to shave off time, but we have room to grow. So who knows? We'll see. Mark Grant, dope, sir. Go cool. 800 high, bro. How do you become a certified track and field coach? I believe you just register. Uh, sign up with Athletics Canada or USATF, wherever country you're from. I think that's how you get your certification. I'm not 100% sure, but as long as you're certified there, you can really coach anybody, like you can sign up for things and all that. So check out those resources. I'm sure it's on their website somewhere, coach registration or certifications, whatever the case may be, and then learn to, you know, get athletes. You got to go recruit, maybe partner with somebody, maybe be an assistant coach somewhere, and then get your feet wet, get people familiar with you, uh, and then from there, once you have the clout, people will come sign up to run with you. Once you have a track record, no pun intended. Um, Eric got into Chantel. Okay, what's up, Chantel? Been a minute. Um, Maz Adnan, how do you set up your blocks? I've learned a couple of different ways from different coaches, but I'm not sure what to go by. What is your block setup? So again, this is another thing where it's like I could tell you what mine is, but I would not recommend just doing what I do, because I'm 6'1", 185, and I sprint in a completely different way than you, I'm assuming. So I would say, okay, well, I'll just tell you what my block setting is. Do I measure with my spikes, right? So I go to the line and I do 2 feet for the first one, and I don't go quite fully 2 feet. I go about this much up my spike, and so it's usually like from my big toe, like the knuckle of my big toe to the end, is where I put the end of the block in the front, and in the back I do 3 steps, and I go all the way to the end of my spike. So it's 3 full steps in the back, and then like one and like I don't know 1.8, 1.85 to the front pedal. But again, you have to, you know, do what works for you. Have a coach look at you. Don't let me mess you up, man. I don't want to be responsible for that. So you've said you've tried a lot of different ways. Just listen to your coach that you have now, because everyone else is going to have a different philosophy. And if you're just mixing up everyone else's philosophies and like, oh, my old coach said this, and then you got to completely buy into your coach that you have now. So listen to what your coach says now. Nandi Avaz, will you write a memoir? One day, of course. I'm gonna write a lot of stuff, man. Like the stuff that I'm putting out now, this is just the beginning. When the further I get in track and field, and the more comfortable I get with like my social media and my voice and my message, all that stuff, I'm gonna be putting out a lot of stuff, man. This is just the beginning. So like this is my first live stream, and I'm planning to do a lot more of these live streams, especially since it's a pretty good turnout. I did not expect this. But yeah, I'm gonna do more live streams. If you guys like this, give me your feedback. Tell me what kind of content you guys want to see. I'm here to give you guys what you want. I'm servicing what you guys want. So let me know what kind of stuff you want to see, and I'll do my best to get you that type of content. Um, how do you slingshot off the bend in the 200-meter Harvey Williams? You have to increase your stride frequency. So, like I said earlier, I drive to 50, and I really look at it as like setting up the first 60 meters as much as I can, building up as much speed. And then when I'm coming off that second half of the first 100, I'm really hitting my spot. And so when it's about like 20 meters before the 100 mark, I'm increasing my stride frequency, and I'm trying to go as fast as possible. Like I don't want to be, when you're coming off the turn, you don't want to be stuck onto it, right? Like you want to get off the track as much as possible. Tap, 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 tap. So like really, really increase your frequency, but don't sacrifice your stride length, if that makes sense. So you don't want to just be tiptoeing around, but you do want to be as quick as possible. And then once you build up that speed off the curve, it should whip you all the way off if you do it correctly. And then usually I go from the inside lane to the outside lane. On my track at in Claremont, where I practice, we have really tight lanes because it's a high school track. So I'm usually going from like lane 5 to lane 6 because I can't control it because the centrifugal forces push me off. But on bigger tracks, like tracks that run on the professional circuit, then I'm able to control it because the lanes are a lot wider. Um, so they call me Oreo. Oh, okay, okay, yeah, yeah. Chantel, yeah, I remember. What's up? Kristen God is beautiful. It would be beautiful, to run 37 or better. Now I'm being advised how much percent does upper body matter in sprinting? It matters, don't completely neglect that. Like obviously, like you got to have some upper body strength because what my coach tells me, especially at the end of the 200, is that the thing that has the least resistance is your upper body, your arms. So you can swing as fast as you can under fatigue, right? So when your legs are hitting the track and you're pounding and going bum, 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 down the track, you're going to fatigue, right? Like you're going to hit that lactic acid. It's going to hit your legs like crazy, especially in the end of a 200 or like the end of a 4. What we want to do is go to the arms because the arms are weightless. They're just going through the air. So you want to keep that as quick as possible. And you need strength to be able to, these arms because they're going to get tired too. You're pumping that thing vigorously, man. So you're going to get fatigued up here too, but it's going to be less resistance than your body because you're not touching the ground. If that makes sense, you're weightless up top. So you definitely still want to be strong up top, but you don't want to be a bodybuilder. Like you don't want to have too much mass. You got to find that balance. I don't know, how do I get triple extension in sprinting? I'm not even attempt that one because I'm not a coach and I really don't know. I wouldn't know the first thing to tell you to do that. So I'm just gonna say, got to get with a coach, man. Wish I could give you a better answer, but I don't even want to mess you up. Kritesh Patel, first moment at a meet. Funniest moment. Funniest moment. Damn. I don't know. I don't know. I gotta think about that. Let me come back to that. Double A says, "Hey Aaron, which sprinters inspired you growing up?" Mentioned that one earlier, but I'll recap it quick if you're coming in now. Donovan Bailey, of course, every Canadian sprinter looked up to Donovan Bailey. He's like the Canadian icon, Canadian hero, so him for sure. Walter Dix was a big one. Florida State was my dream school. Once I started learning about the NCAA, and he was a big sprinter there, so I definitely looked up to him. And then he made the Olympic team in '08. So that was my first Olympics I actually paid attention to because I was running track. Like I knew what was up and what was happening. So I liked him. And I had the single braids back then, and he had that too. So I'm like, oh, I see myself in him. It's kind of dope. I like Tyson Gay, like I said, Johan Blake, big fan. Allison Felix, I grew up liking Allison Felix because I just felt like her marketability was high and her presence was clean, and I don't know, I just felt like she was a good role model, so I looked up to her because they presented her well, and she's a really cool person. As I got older, Shelly Ann Fraser Price is someone I really really respect. Think she should be a lot bigger than she is for what she's accomplished. She's a man legend in the game. So yeah, those are some people that inspired me. You're so pretty and cool. Please screenshot time. Please screenshot time. I don't know if you're asking me to do a screenshot, but sure. There you go. Screenshot. I don't know if you want me to send that to you, but did it anyway. Escaping Productions. Is it just me, or do you find track way less stressful than basketball? I switched because of that, and I found inner peace in track. Yeah, man. Honestly, for one, track is an individual sport unless you're in relays. So you're in complete control of everything when you step on that track. When you're in a race, you're guaranteed a lane. So at least you're going to have an opportunity to run. When I used to play basketball, you're competing for minutes, right? It's a team sport. So your success in your production depends on the coaching scheme, depends on how much minutes you get, depends on your teammates, if they pass you the ball, if they run plays for you, if you're open. So you have to make the most of your opportunities. And if you don't, you might not see the ball again. You might say like, oh, just get back on the defense, or oh, go rebound, or oh, hit the bench, man. You're playing bad. So there's a lot of stress because you're competing against other people. right? And it's a team sport. So you might have a bad game and the team wins, or you might have a good game and the team loses. So there's a lot of things that are out of your control. And then, of course, you don't know how many minutes you're going to because your coach is in charge of that. But in track, once you have your lane, you're guaranteed to run. So you're in control of being able to do everything you can um, to make the most of the opportunity on track. So yeah, it's definitely a lot less stressful in that way. And that's the big difference that I noticed between a team sport and track and field. Um, bucket slam, laugh my ass off. About to be a junior in high school at 6 foot, 6 foot, 140. It's definitely going to take your advice. Okay, yeah. I mean, I wouldn't sweat about it though, because that sounds pretty small. I'm 6'1", 185, so I got a lot of weight on you. But at the same time, I'm 30 years old, so I'm a grown man. When I was in high school, man, I was a toothpick, and that's what a lot of people called me. I was 6 foot back then too, and I was probably around 150 ish. So I didn't really lift weights like that. I just had raw talent. So um, don't sweat, trying to lift too early. I know down here in the States, they lift a lot and they're grown men in high school, and it's ridiculous the times that they run in high school because, they're basically running as like collegiates in high school, and it's ridiculous. But a lot of them do peak in high school in the States. I see that a lot too. And that's probably because, they stress doing like these full on like track programs that you do in college, and they don't let the body grow. Like they stunt their growth by like lifting and do all these like professional workouts and stuff so early. Like let the body develop, let it continue to grow, let your body naturally do what it has to do, and you'll grow over time. You'll grow into your man body. Vishal Ramesh says many track coaches on Instagram and Twitter focus on speed work all year, which in my opinion is great, but they find aerobic work overrated. What is your opinion? How much does aerobic work help you? Okay. It's kind of a coaching question, but from my experience, honestly, speed work is high risk, high reward. So when I was with Coach Carroll, my senior year at USC, she's definitely of the mindset of high risk, high reward in a lot of sprinting. Like we were sprinting from the first week, and I had never experienced that because my coach before that for the first 3 years when I was at USC was the opposite, more traditional of what I do now with my coach, Dennis, as a professional. And so, uh, um, yeah, we did a lot of speed work. We did a lot of speed bounds. We did a lot of like explosive work, and you can get fast really, really quickly, and which is what we needed because we did indoors. And so all my other track seasons, I hadn't done indoors. The only time I did indoors is that 1 year with Coach Carroll, my senior year. So we had to do speed really quick because we had to be fast quick and be fast for long. So she found a way to get us fit and still be able to run fast 200s and stuff by just doing a lot. She said if you do like block starts over and over and over in a interval, it gives you the same, like even though you ran like 20, 30 meters, it gives you the same workout body wise as like doing longer runs. So she said you don't need to do it. And that was her philosophy, is that like if you just get back in the blocks really quickly, like reload and keep going over and over and over and reset the body, it's the same as like running longer runs. So there's a lot of people that did get hurt because, like shin splints are a big thing. Like you're sprinting, pound, 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 because pounding the body over time is going to take a toll, and you got to be really up on your body maintenance. So I think aerobic work helps. I definitely would add that into it. I like adding in some base work where you're doing longer distances. Like we do 500s, we do 300s. Sometimes we even do trail runs, like slow jogs down. And that helps build the body up. Like the more you get, the more running under you, especially in the grass, the more your body's able to withstand. So I'm a big fan. And then switch to speed work as you get progress in the season. But then again, I don't do indoors, so I have the time to build up my body and then progressively switch to speed work. So each his own. I don't know. It says 100 to 200. If you didn't see my Instagram post, I put it on YouTube too. I said both, man. Why choose when I don't have to? I doubled at the World Championships. I'm trying to double in Zurich in the Diamond League final. I'm gonna do 100 and 200 the rest of the season. So both, man. I like the 100 because it's the most popular. It's the quickest. It's what I grew up loving. But I've over the time grown up to be, a fan of the 200, and coming off that curve. That's like nothing like it, man. Building up that speed and whipping off that track, man. I love that feeling. So I'm gonna say both. Today's my birthday. It was my first day of track overall. Went well. Happy birthday, man. Shout out to you, Nazir Kilgore. Happy birthday. How old are you if you're still in the chat? Michelson Zephyrin, how are you doing your money to live as a professional athlete? So I have a contract with Nike, a Nike sponsored athlete. So I got it all over me, all the shoes back there is because I'm a Nike athlete. So yeah, Nike pays me to train, to run, to wear their clothes and compete wearing Nike attire. So shout out to them. Um, Vishal. Oh, now obviously make money, prize money, competing overseas and professional meets, and I have other sponsors and stuff like that. But my main source of income comes from Nike. Vishal Ramesh, what is your typical week for each of these phase? Base fall, mid-season taper. Base fall. Um, we do a lot of running in the grass, like I said earlier. That's when we start to progressively start weights and introduce that, and then we get heavier and heavier and heavier and heavier until we get to about springtime, and then we start to, maintain. So in base fall training, the we're breaking down the body as much as possible and building that base that will carry us for the rest of the season. So um, that's when we do our heaviest weights, when we do our longest runs, building up that lactic threshold, and it's really tough training. Base season sucks, but it's necessary. That's what carries us for the rest of the season. That's why I'm able to still run now and not worry about it because I still have my fitness that I built up in the fall. And as we get closer to the end of the season, it's closer to another base season. So I'm not looking forward to that. But at the same time, when you're motivated and ready for, bigger and better things, you invite the pain, you invite the hard work. So at the same time, I am looking forward to it. Um, Mid-season, that's when we start to transition to our specialty stuff. So we start to, block stuff, start to do speed work, more short sprints, and put on our spikes and slowly introduce that, get the body ready for that. We don't just hit the ground running. So when we first put on spikes, we're still doing kind of longer stuff, 200s, 300s, 250s, but all that stuff. This season, I did some more 400 training too. So that was tough. And then as you get to the taper season, it's all fun and games. We're doing hella block starts, we're doing hella speed, 120s, 60s, 150s, all that good stuff. So those are the 3 phases. What are the cues that your coach gives you during top speed or sprint sessions, or some mental cues that you focus on during sprint sessions? Um, Cues I tell myself to pull coming out of the blocks, and that's because I want to pull my knees. Because when I lead with the knee, then I usually have the right angle coming out, and my projection's good. So I like to tell myself to pull the knee, and sometimes I do short steps and I don't go far enough, and I'm focused on being too quick. So when I tell myself to pull the knee, it gives me enough distance, but I'm still being quick. And then when I tell myself to pull, then I drive the knees as much as I can because I want to make sure I drive at least 25 to 30 meters, ideally, and smoothly come up. But the more I tell myself to drive the knee and pull, the better that is for me. And then um, at the top of the turn, the 200, I'm telling myself quick, and that's because I want to hit that. We call it the 2-2, the 20 meters before and after the 100-meter zone. That's why I said earlier when you're transitioning off, you want to get that whip. So you're focusing on your turnover, and I say tap, 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 be quick, 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 quick. And that's how I whip off the turn. Yeah. Ooh, Tamawa Omalabe, what is your favorite thing about being? My favorite thing, man, is traveling. Like being able to travel the world. My next 4 meets, I'm about to put up my schedule soon. But my next 4 meets, I'm going to Luzerne, Switzerland, not Lausanne, Luzerne, and then I'm going to Brussels in Belgium. Then I'm going to Padova in Italy, and then finishing off in Switzerland again. So, I've been to so many countries. I got to go to Africa this year for the first time. I've been to Australia. I've been to China. I've been to Japan. All over Europe, man. I've been to so many different countries to go to track. So that's definitely the best thing about being a professional athlete. And the free gear. You see all the shoes, man. I was a sneakerhead growing up, so this is like if I could see myself as a kid, all the shoes I was gonna have, man, I would have been in heaven. So yeah. Um, RL, my question for Dryden, 6'2", grade 10. I tell him pierce the page. You can be scholarship, being Canadian tracker people. 6'2", man. See, that sounds tall, but it depends on what your goal is. If your goal is to be the NBA, which everyone says, then it's going to be tough. If your goal, you said, to go stateside, If your goal is just to play basketball at a college, then you might have a shot. Depending on what college you go to, there's so many colleges out there. There's D2, there's NAIA, there's JUCO. There's all kinds of opportunities in the states, not just D1. So um, you definitely can get recruited. So I would say, which one do you like better? Which one do you honestly think you're better at? Track. I think it depends on your stats and track too. Like, what event are you? How good are you? There's a lot of different things. It's hard for me to answer that straight up, but I'll go with what you think is best. Ask your coaches, see what they think your potential is, and then gauge your interest by putting yourself out there. I'm going to plug Streamline Athletes again for track athletes. It's a great resource. If you're trying to get noticed, then college coaches are actively recruiting through Streamline Athletes all the time. If you just go on the platform, sign up, register, put your times out there. It's an easy way to start your own recruitment journey, take initiative, and create your free athlete profile today. Why wait? Put yourself out there. It's a great way to go stateside if that's what your goal is. Just put your personal info, put your athletic performances. It's as easy as that, honestly. You just need to put yourself out there. It's really easy. So I don't know what for basketball, if you make a highlight tape, put yourself out there that way, but Streamline Athletes will definitely help you if you're trying to do track. And there's a lot of opportunities in track. So I might lean to that one because that's what I did and that's what I know. And you're 6'2", you're not like 6'7" or something like that, where you really have a good chance of going pro or sorry, getting recruited to a basketball school. You never know with that. It's tough. Basketball is definitely a hard sport to break through in, and you might have more opportunities in track. Or you could always start basketball and then switch over to track. I've seen people do that too. I don't know. Do you want to college? Yes, I did. I went to USC. Fight on, baby. And I have a video about my college recruiting story, so check that one out. It's on my YouTube page. Sebastian Fales Chavez, 7'4". Hello, Aaron. I don't speak English very well, so if something is not understood, it is because I'm a translator. Any advice for the 200-meter starts? For example, focus more on strength or speed. I mean, that's perfect English, so you got a good translator right there. But strength or speed? I would say speed. My coach's philosophy out the blocks is always a focus on speed, kind of run out the blocks and not muscle it. So people try to get as much as they can out of every step, and they're bang, bang, bang. But you want to be as quick as possible when you're really when you're starting out. You want to be on the ground because when you're in the air, you can't really do anything in the beginning of the race, right? So every time you hit the ground, you're coming off of it, right? So you want to be hitting the ground as quick as possible to build up as much speed because you're starting from a dead stop, right? So you're trying to hit the ground because the ground will feed you back and push you down, right? So if your angles are right, you focus on speed to push you down. If your angles are right, my coach always says angles will give you your strength. You don't have to focus on that. You don't have to focus on being strong and forcing it out of the ground and muscling it. If your angles are right, your speed will take care of itself. Is 1-2-4 triple possible in the future? For me, I would not do the triple. If I was adding in the 4, I would probably drop the 1 and just do 2 and 4. To be honest, because that 1-2-4 is a beast, man. Like I will do some 4s next year for sure. Like early in the season, I definitely want to do that. At least run 45. I definitely think that'll help me in the latter stages of my 200 and build some more strength, which is what I need. So I'm willing to do that and go through that pain. But I'm not going to do the triple like at Worlds or anything. That's just crazy. Push car Bing 100-meter tips video. I mean, I could do one for sure. I could definitely add that to the list if that's what you guys want. Like I said, I'm not a coach. That's my tagline, but I can give you tips and what works for me, and then you can do with it what you want from there. Umu 23 A22. Hi Aaron, I've been running track for about 4 years, and currently my PR is 10:97, 22:45, and 100 and 200. Okay. I never did weight training and want to know if it's a big factor to your development. For example, can I go from 10:97 to 10:4, 10:5, 12:3? Thank you for your advice in advance. Yeah. I mean, what I did, those are very close to my PRs when I was younger. I 10th grade, I was 10:7, 22:2. And then grade 11, when I actually applied myself and started running, like actually practicing and taking the workout seriously, I made my first team with Team Canada World Youth in 2009, and I got silver. And I ran the Canadian youth record that still stands. Yes, sir. At 10:46, and I ran what I ran to 20. I don't remember what I ran to 22:0. I don't know. But then the year after that, my senior year in high school, I ran a 10:3 windy, 10:4 legal, and 21 flat. So yeah, you can definitely make big jumps. In high school, when your body's still filling out and getting bigger and bigger, that's when you see huge drops, especially if you apply yourself and like join a track club and like work on your technique and stuff like that. Just naturally your body getting stronger and then working on your technique and applying yourself better, you can make huge drops. So yeah, you're definitely there. And you haven't done any weight training, you have a lot left. So don't even worry. Namdi Avaz, you look Nigerian when you ever do a DNA test. Um, I don't know, man. That 23andMe stuff, like my wife did one, and it's cool to see her heritage and stuff. Maybe I'll do one for my son so he knows exactly where his parents come from and all that. But I'm pretty sure like my dad is Jamaican and my mom is Bajan from Barbados, so I'm Caribbean. I mean, maybe originally from there we were taking my ancestors were from Nigeria or something, but who knows, man? We're all from Africa. um I just got messed up. Damn. Where was I at? Did anyone ever beat you in the 4x1 at TDSBs? Yes. Wait, TDSBs? No, not TDSBs. We did lose. What year was that? I mean, my first year in grade nine, I ran with nobody. I don't even know who was on my team. They literally gave it to me as an anchor, and I was in like seventh, and I had to come back from the depths of hell and try and do something. So we definitely did not win also with that team. But in grade 10, I ran with the seniors, Andre Hamilton, rest in peace, and Ian Warner and Trevor Harvey. So we had the officer record back then, and we ran everything back then. My year we won as well, but then we got DQ'd. So I guess I don't think we lost actually. I think we just got DQ'd for running out of the zone. Yeah, so I don't know if we actually lost the relay. Um, how do you think Japanese sprinter? What do I think of Japanese sprinters? Is that what you're asking? Um, Team Japan is one of the best relay teams in the 4x1 year in, year out. Always really, really, really talented. So, you know, their sprinters individually are getting faster over the years. When I was younger, I didn't really see them on the bigger stage, but as years past, they've been faster individually too. You have a couple of sub 10 guys that run 9 seconds. So they're only going to continue to get faster. But yeah, they're really technically sound in the 4x1. They do the underhand pass, and that seems to work well for them. Their program really emphasizes the relay. So, when you have your bread and butter and you stick to it, that's what happens. So, yeah, Japanese sprinters, definitely give them respect. They always have really good starts too. I've noticed that. Um, what is your best accomplishment, even if you look outside of track? What's my best accomplishment? That's a good question. I think being a professional for this long, lasting in the game, a lot of athletes that I came out with are not around anymore. And just being able to last and, being someone that was able to rise up and make a living sport, carve a lane for myself. I think that's a huge accomplishment for myself, being able to manage, um, juggling being a full-time athlete, being a husband, a father, and content creator. I think that's a great accomplishment as well because it takes a lot of time management on the track. First, our world championship gold, being a world champion, is obviously something dope that I'm really proud of. Being a 10-time Canadian national champion is something really cool. Running 10 and sub 20 is really cool. There's a lot of little things. I don't know if I can pinpoint just one. Um, but that's just because I'm so locked into the next accomplishment that I don't really always take time to, appreciate my past accomplishments. So I'd have to think about that more. Now, do you have stories from 2012 and 2016 Olympics since you didn't vlog then? Oh man, I have plenty of stories. 2012. I mean, I put one on my YouTube page about the first time I raced Usain Bolt. So that's a pretty cool story. So go check that one out if you haven't seen it. 2016 Olympics. Um, I remember after I ran the first round of the 100 and I didn't make it out the prelims. I was so embarrassed when I stepped off the track, man. I felt like I had failed. I felt like everyone was laughing at me. I just stepped off the track and I felt defeated, man. And what a lot of people don't know is my now wife, back then we weren't even together. We just broken up, but she still had planned her trip down to Rio and she made the trip over. So when she came over, I left the village that night, that same night. I didn't want to go back to the village and have to face everybody and see everybody because I felt like, oh, what happened? Well, and I just didn't want to talk to anybody. So me and her, we got an Airbnb outside of the village, and I stayed with her that night. And we weren't even together back then. So that's how you know, like, this is the one for me because she's talked through me through thick and thin at my lowest moments. She brought me up. So I came back, ran the 200, made the semifinals, and then we went on to get our bronze in relay and run a then Canadian record. So just having real ones and day ones behind you, having your back, that's definitely something that I remember from the 2016 Olympics. And then there's a story of when I met LeBron and all the NBA guys from Team USA at the games room in 2012. But you got to check out the podcast that I did with the Athletes podcast to see that full story. I won't. It's a long one, so I won't rehash that one now. Do you think sprinters need to do some amount of tempo sprint training, buddy? Yeah, definitely. You can't be pounding and sprinting every session. You definitely need some type of like uh tempo work where you're just getting volume in, working on your fitness levels, that aerobic work that I was talking about earlier. Definitely need that. So yeah, buddy, go ahead and do that. Quentin Miles, what has been some defining moments in your life away from the track that help stay shape the way you approach your career on the track as well as your life as a father and husband? Defining moments in your life away from the track that help shape the way you approach your career on the track. Just the people that I've met, man. Like, a lot of people will give you game and help you figure out your path if you just listen, to be honest. And a lot of people just feel like they have all the answers and they're in their own head. They think they're the God's greatest gift and all that stuff. But if you're just humble enough to like listen to people's stories and listen to people's experiences and what they've learned and they passed down knowledge just by listening and applying it, man. Like, don't just listen and then be like, wow, it's a great story. Cool. And go be doing what you're doing. Listen, extrapolate the lessons that they're giving you and apply that to yourself, man. Like, you can get so far just by doing that. And that's helped shape me as a father, as a husband, and as an athlete. Just listening to the mistakes that other people have made, things that made other people successful, how they improved their relationships, how they were professional and learned how to survive in the world, in the sport, how they're able to stay patient with their kids and raise them the right way to be good human beings. You know, a lot of stuff, a lot of lessons out there, man. You just gotta go out there and listen and then apply it, man. Be humble. That's what I take from that. Peter Vong, Aaron, do you focus on being as powerful as possible or being quick in the 100? Like I said earlier, in the first 30, really, especially I'm focusing on being quick, being fast. If you have the right angles and you apply yourself, the force takes care of itself. And I focus on being fast. And then I definitely want to be aggressive in the air. And my coach calls that air contact time, which means um, airtime management. So when I'm in the air, I don't just want to go up and down and wait for it. I want to force it back down. So as quick as I force it up, I want to force it back down. So further down the track, then you want to be more aggressive with your running. But when you're setting it up in the beginning stages, I say be quick and be smooth and make sure you don't rush it, man. Because the smoother you are, like a plane taking off, you see when they go down the runway, they take their time and then they go up. They don't just try and go up because they come right back down. They don't have enough momentum built up. Same way with the 100. You want to build up your momentum, do the 30, smoothly tie it together and sprint up, sprint out of it. And that's something that I messed up at Worlds. I had a great drive phase. If you go back and look at my races, and I'll talk about this more in my 100-meter reaction video that's coming out. Stay tuned for that. But I definitely rushed it after building out I was really in the mix in the first 20, 30 meters. And then from there, I messed up my transition. And it's hard to when people are running 9 innings. It's hard to run people down doing that. Um, I don't know. Can I go from 13.25 to 11.99 next season? I mean, yeah, I don't see why not. Without knowing more about you, you know, I don't know your stats. I don't know your age. I don't know what you look like. I don't know what kind of training you do, but anybody can make a jump from there. That's definitely not unreasonable, especially if you barely like train for this. Just by learning how to run and apply yourself, you can definitely drop, yeah, 11.99. That's definitely possible for you. RL, you are a wise man. That is why a one person, a husband, father. First track is something you do, career, love. Thanks, Aaron. Respect, man. I try to be a good example for younger athletes and my son. Um, try to be a role model the best I can, and set the example. Just try to do it the right way. Um, Maz Adnan, do you train upper body? If so, what do your workouts usually look like? Sets and reps. Did you ask me that earlier? You're really up on this upper body thing, man. But yes, I train upper body. Like I said, you want to have a strong upper body because pushing on the blocks. You want to have a strong upper body, especially at the end of your race when you're fatiguing. You want to be able to vigorously swing the arms. Um, so I do bench pressing, I do dumbbell presses, I do lat pull downs, bicep curls, the whole program that my coach meticulously puts out to train the muscles to do certain actions and movements. For example, like when we have these shakers, we're mimicking the arm swings, so you're getting a real good extension through your shoulder to train that. So things like that to mimic the movements. You don't want to just get in there and just do random stuff and just throw weights around. You want to make sure that you're actually doing movements that you'll replicate on the track, right? So, like if you have an extension here, an exercise like this would be good. If you have an extension here, an exercise like that would be good. So, you want to make sure that you're doing stuff that you're going to be doing in real life. Work those muscles. Uh, London and see how much do you is the average salary? Um, there's no such thing in track, man. There's no average because, for one, we all have NDAs in our contract, so we're not even allowed to say how much we make. As much as I would love to, and I try to be as transparent as possible. I don't want to get fined, and I don't want to lose my contract, so can't divulge that. And there's no salary average because nobody knows what anybody makes. There's no market because you can't like only agents really know like or have an idea of okay this person has this and that's because they talk to each other but for us nobody knows so average salary it's hard to say and then too like you know my Nike contract is my sponsorship with Nike but then there's a whole like money that you get paid for prize money. Some people get appearance fees, sometimes I get one, sometimes I don't. um there's bonuses and contracts, there's money that you get from your federation, so there's a whole bunch of different things to factor in too. So I have no idea what the next man makes in track and field unless I just straight up ask them, which is kind of taboo to do that. Sometimes I do if we're close enough, but yeah, there's no average unfortunately, and that's one of the big problems in our sport. That's why we kind of operate like an amateur sport. Like you can Google how much a golfer makes, how much an NBA player makes, but this information is not available in track, and hopefully that changes in the future because that really holds us back. Kristen Gaudet, there was a lot of athletes cramping up at Worlds, and you mentioned you started cramping up also. Was it the weather, exhaustion, dehydration, etc.? Yeah, at championships when you're exerting yourself, and I'm running 8 races. I ran the 1, 2, and 4x1. So over time, body starts to fatigue, and you're running as hard as you can at this level. So definitely, exhaustion and dehydration are always factors. But I feel like my cramping came as a result of slipping out of my blocks, to be honest. Because I my block slipped back and I extended, and I think I overextended because my block slipped back, but it wasn't too bad. So my cramping happened, but it wasn't too bad because um, I fell pretty nicely. It could have been a lot worse. But then I also cramped my calf. Because we had to go to Lane Community College and then come all the way back. And that was I mentioned this in my 4x1 reaction video. They had us sitting on the bus. It was like a 20-minute bus ride. So imagine going to another track, warming up, doing your sprints, like we did a pass there, all that stuff. So an hour and a half of warming up, only to get on the bus to sit there for 20 minutes, go all the way back to the track, and then try to warm up again before you go into the call room where you have to sit again before we go onto the track, right? So when you do that much warming up and cooling down and then try to like re-get the body up, like do you warm up for a reason, right? So when you're sitting around, you're losing everything that you just prepared your body to do. It thinks it's done. So like that's the reason why I cramped. Um, dehydration wise, I was really, really hydrated. I did a really good job, and I had a staff around me in Team Canada of Athletics Canada doing a really good job with preparing me for that. So, you know, I wouldn't chalk it up to dehydration. I definitely say it's the fact that I had to get on the bus, go there, and come back because I didn't cramp in the 100 and 2. Well, I cramped in the 2 after I slipped, but other than that, 1 and 2, I was pretty good. I might have missed if you answered this already, but any plans for the rest of the season? Love your content and congrats on the 4x1 gold. AJT, appreciate that. I am running 4 more races. So this is my last week of training, and then I head overseas on Saturday. First stop is Luzern in Switzerland, not Lausanne, the Diamond League. A lot of people get that confused. It's both in Switzerland, but one's Lausanne, one's Luzern. I'm going to Luzern, running the 1 and 2 there, double. And then I'm going to Brussels, Belgium, run the 200 there. That is a Diamond League. And then go to Padova there, run 100, and then I'll end the season in Zurich. Should be in both the 1 and 2, so double there again, and hopefully end the season on a high note. Literally, Lomain wants to discount Mike for buying Nike gear since they sponsor you. So this is the thing. When I first signed, I thought we got a discount code, but we actually don't because we're not technically Nike employees. We're Nike sponsored athletes, and we operate as independent contractors. So we're technically self-employed. We're not Nike employees. So we don't get a Nike employee discount. But what they do is they give us what's called a Nike Elite account. So they give us a certain allotment each year where we can spend it in a separate website from Nike.com and buy Nike gear that way. So, you go into Nike Elite, every athlete, you negotiate the amount in your contract with your agent and your sponsor, and then you can spend as much as you want according to your allotment on the Nike Elite website. And they usually put up a lot of the same stuff that they put on the regular Nike website, but only Nike Elite athletes get access to it. So we have a different interface that we go through. It's a Russian name, don't know how to pronounce that, but do you have any advice on improving top end speed? I struggle with it, but pull away at the start of the race. If you're pulling away, you might be getting tense at the end of the race and trying to force it. So I would definitely say stay relaxed as much as you can. That's what I would say to improve your top end speed. And you want to be operating like a candle, right? And this is an expression my coach uses where a candle is beautiful to look at. It's nice and calm, it's relaxing. But if you touch it, it'll burn your ass. He said exactly like that. So what that means is you want to be really calm up here in your mind, right? Slow things down up here, but you're aggressive, right? So you're aggressive, but you're controlled, right? So a controlled aggression is how you maintain your top end speed. Like you're relaxed, but at the same time, you're still hitting it and you're in your zone. You're just flowing. You're not muscling it. You're not getting tight, like especially if you're running away from people and you're scared that they're going to come get you at the end. You got to stay relaxed and just trust yourself all the way to the tape. Hold your form the best you can. Quint Miles, which athlete have you been the most nervous to race against in your career? I guess I would say Usain Bolt, man. The greatest of all time, So I told this story about 2012, the first time I raced him. Like, I was really excited to just talk to him. Like, after the 200, the first round, I got to see him in the tunnel going back to the practice track. And I got to speak to him. And I was just like excited to do that. But then I found out I was racing him. So I was like, wow, I got to race the greatest of all time. This is crazy. But then after that, I'm like, okay, I've raced the fastest guy of all time. There's nobody else I should be afraid of because nobody's as fast as he's been. So yeah, that was the last time I was actually really like nervous to race a person. I get nervous for the race itself or I get anxious for the race itself, but I'm not anxious to race anybody else because they can't do anything to me. Like we're all in our own lane, right? So I just got to focus on myself. I can't control what they do. So why even worry about that? Do you speak Japanese? Kawaii. I don't. I know konnichiwa, and that's about it. So I like Japanese culture a lot, though. So if I could learn a couple words, that'd definitely be something that I do. RL, know you're going to podium individual. Hey, respect, man. I'm chasing it. So appreciate the belief in your boy. I'm going to go for it. I believe in it too. Got to manifest it, man. Skip your productions. Meet and greet would be legendary. Where you live, man? If you're down in Florida, that's definitely possible. If you're in Toronto, that's definitely possible. So depending on where you're at, I could definitely hook that up. That'd be cool to meet you guys in person. Maybe do like a little training camp or something down the road. That'd be something really cool. Aaron, what the F or WTF? How you doing, my Canadian brother? I'm good, man. Shout out to Canada, all my Canadians in the chat. Representing for the Maple Leaf as always. Anya, Mark, who's your favorite training partner? That's tough. That's tough. I love training with Justin, of course. He's retired now, but it was great because he's a guy that I looked up to, a mentor, big brother, someone that was an idol of mine, to be honest. Just seeing how he approached himself, how professional he was, I learned a lot of things from him, and I still learn from him, man. I still talk to him about track and field, tell him about how I can get better, and he's definitely a guy I love to train with. Isaiah Young, I trained with him for years. He's been since I first came to the group, so I love training with him. He's one of my best friends. So those two guys were both at my wedding party. So definitely go with those two right there. And I'll also shout out BJ Lee in USC, one of my boys from back in the day. Still talk to him too. So those three guys, love training with them. David Wang, what kind of exercise do you do in the weight room and what are your best lifts? I mean, I do a lot of weights, man. My coach puts on a weight program, a lot of different things, so I can't really go over everything. We don't do Olympic lifts though, so I'll say that we did it one year, but for the rest of the time that I've been here, we do other stuff that my coach says would be overlap with Olympic lifts, so there's no need to, um, you know, squatting. We use different type of machines. Yeah, I'm not even gonna go down that road. There's a lot of different exercises, and it's hard to explain what the machine is, and I don't know the names of the exercise and all that, but um, RL, I have to tell you before this ends, my 76-year-old mom watching track, Vegeta fan, knows who Aaron is. Call me out year 200. Happy and said best smile ever. Hey, man, I appreciate everyone that shows love, especially a 76-year-old. Much respect to the elders. Tell her thank you. Appreciate that. Marquise Akpamgo. Do you feel the Max 5s are cheat spikes? I don't, Why are they cheat spikes? That's what I would say. There hasn't been a massive improvement from people who wear them, like those super shoes in the distance events, right? Like, have people run faster? Sure. But people run faster all the time. Like, if you look at from where spikes started out with like Jesse Owens to where they are now, there's been improvements over the years all the time. So what, every time there's an improvement in technology, you're gonna say it's cheating? Why? All the other shoe companies have caught up. They are using the same type of technology now. That's just the state of the sport. Like, we adapt, we get faster, we have better products. That's just like, what's the point of having sponsors and other different brands out there if you're not going to try and innovate and be the best, right? So no, I don't think they're cheat spikes at all. Like, everybody has access to them. You know, Other companies, like I said, have their own products now that rival it, and I don't even feel like they give you that much of an advantage. Like, if you use them properly, yes, you get a little bit of an advantage, but a lot of people don't run them the proper way, and it can hinder you. So if you're not using them properly, there's no advantage at all. It's a disadvantage. So no, I don't think they're cheat spikes at all, man. It's just the nature of the game. Buddy would love to see some training vlog content. Man, I'd love to make it. That's something I'd have to work out with my coach because he doesn't like us to do that type of stuff in practice. He likes us to lock in and focus. But it's definitely something possible. I just have to negotiate it and then get somebody to film me because I film myself. I do a lot of my stuff. Well, I do all my stuff now on my content. Everything you see is me. So I'd have to, you know, hire somebody or ask somebody to film or bring my stand. I don't think you'd like a tripod at the track, and I do a rep and then go back and check the video and all that. That's too much. So I definitely have to get somebody to come film me at practice, but I'll do my best to try and get that for you. I know a lot of people would like that. TCM 12, how do you get out of the block so fast? The thing I've struggled with most is starting already. Years and years of practice, man. My coaches worked on this philosophy for me. Applying myself angle wise, I finally started to learn it really well. So yeah, that's been years and years of practice, and I'd say go with a coach that's really good at starting. My coach is great, one of the best start coaches out there. He knows his blocks really, really well. So definitely hook up with somebody that will help you there, because very, very detailed, very, very intricate. So it's hard for me to just say like, "Oh, do this, do that." You know, they gotta tailor it to you. Um, I'm gonna mess up your name, so I'm even gonna try. I'm just call you SS. A few days ago, I did squats, and then I felt something on my knee, but it didn't feel that much. Do I have to worry about it, or just continue with workouts? Mm, depends. I would say keep going, and if you keep feeling it, then get it looked at. Go to a chiropractor. Maybe your knee needs to be adjusted. Maybe you need some soft tissue work. A lot of times pressure on your knee comes from the quad. So if you don't get manual therapy, like massages, like sports massages, I recommend that. Have a sports massage therapist look at your body, assess you. Maybe your quads pulling on it, it's too tight, and have them work it out. If you foam roll, definitely do that on your quads, calves, all that stuff, just anywhere around the knee. I definitely roll that out, massage it, stretch it, make sure you're stretching and warming up before you run. But if you feel knee pain again, yeah, definitely get checked out. But if not, yeah, keep going. It might just be your technique as well. So check that. Um, RO, why does kind of always get mess lanes, prelim, even Damien 400? Man, I don't know. They always do us dirty, man. They actually did us pretty good in Eugene, and maybe that's because we're North America. But anytime other championship, we're in some terrible lane, man. It's just crazy. It's like a joke at this point. Um, Tell them to put some respect on our name. Maybe we're world champs now, so maybe it might, give us a little respect. Vaughn Kavon actually met you at Beaumont in 2016. Oh, okay. That's what's up. Beaumont, man. That's a long time ago, man. That's grade 7, grade 8 days, baby. Back in the day. Satoshi Shinichi. 37 2 4 ball relay in Budapest 2023 or 2024. Paris. Sounds good to me. 2/10 off our time. Definitely can see that. That's the minimum. Vaughn, can you dunk? Of course, man. Come on, man. I could dunk back in ninth grade, baby. I could dunk. I could dunk in eighth grade actually with a volleyball. That was the first time I dunked, but then I could like legit dunk in ninth grade. Uh, Karan D'Souza, hey bro, big fan. Shout out to you. Appreciate all my fans, everyone that loves my stuff and supports me. Much appreciated. Um, Oh, and if you guys can go ahead and hit that like button, that obviously helps the YouTube algorithm push my stuff out. So I have to plug that as a YouTuber. I definitely forgot to say that, but hit that like button. Been on here for hour 17, man. I didn't expect this many questions. Oh, God, it's 11 o'clock. Okay, I got to wrap it up soon. I get ready for training tomorrow. R5 lane 8 prelim one more time. No need to reply. Lane 8's not bad, man. Try lane 2. That's tight and it's tough. Or lane 1. So lane 8's not bad. You could deal with that. But I feel you. Lane 5, lane 4, lane 6, those are preferred. I really like Aaron coming to Japan. Shout out to you. Matthew Karam, many times. How many times do you speed work during base? We don't do any speed work October, December. We don't do any. We're doing fall training, over speed, longer stuff. So no. Kristen Gaudet, I say 37 seconds because of all the real things in the world. I think you four can 100% get very close to that perfect race, but because you guys have been together for so long and practice all the time, I agree. Camaraderie, all that stuff, that plays a factor. Getting our steps down, we can open up our marks, getting much faster. So yeah, I agree. A lot of teams change their teams in and out, but we are pretty consistent. So that's an advantage for us. Krish Patel, how many shoes do you got in the background? Dude, I don't know. Good question. Over 100. I'll say that. These are just the Jordans too. I got more shoes in the closet. Namdi Avaz, have you met Ben Johnson or Don Valley? I haven't talked to Ben Johnson. I've seen him at York University in Canada when I was younger. But Donovan Bailey, yeah, I've actually done a podcast with him. So I've talked to Donovan a lot. We follow each other and he usually commentates when I run and all that stuff. But yeah, I've talked to Donovan a lot, which is pretty cool. Just got lost again. Okay. Mike, Aaron, how many more Olympics are you running? I mean, taking it year by year, man. I'm 30, so getting in the peak years. Definitely going to run 2024, and we'll see about 2028. But At least one, I'll say that. RL, I seen you run 400, not just 100, 200. Yeah, man, I've ran one 400 in my life. I ran it in Tampa. I ran 46:33, so not bad. And I definitely want to lower that, get into the 45 range next season. Matthew Karam kicked the tibia out of the top end. Yep. RL Sherman Crooks 248, not 8 for you. No, no 800. No, no, no. 400 my limit. Maz, do you lean in the turn? I do not. Stay upright. The best way to go around the turn is stay as upright as you can and run just like you're running 100. And then turn your head. And when you turn your head, it'll turn your body with you across the curve. But when you're leaning, man, you're not applying as much force straight up and down like you could. So don't lean. That's what my coach tells me. Kristen Gaudet, I ran track for 10 years, 100, 200 relay anchor, and sometimes 400 long jump. And was dead tired of me. What do you do to stay ready for each round? I definitely have my team around me. So preparing in between the rounds. So I have my massage therapist who will get my body right, take care of that. Sometimes I do an ice bath, like at the end of the day, I'll do an ice bath to get the body feeling good for the next day, get rid of inflammation, all that stuff. Hydrate, protein recovery shake after I run. Good rest is key. So I usually take energy drinks before my races. So after the race, I try to take like melatonin or something like that. That'll calm me down. Some tea is always good to get the body ready. And then following a bedtime schedule. So your body's on that circadian rhythm, used to, being on a schedule. Your body clock knows what to do and will wind down easier. So having a wind down routine, make sure you get good rest. Um, let's go. Do you shout out 4x4 ladies? Commonwealth. Yeah, shout out to them, man. They won Commonwealth. Big shout out to them. Good job, ladies, in the relays. They definitely have a lot of potential in the 4x4. So I think they can medal for world championships next year. How much can you get better in 2 years from someone who never got proper track training? A lot, a lot. And I said that earlier. Just by being able to apply yourself properly on the track, you can so much time. Michael Sin Zephyrin, what did you study back in college? I'm a political science major and business minor. So that's what I studied. What was your goals in high school? Was it just also a few meets? Would you recommend to reach the top step by step? Yeah, my goals in high school, when I was in 10th grade to break the officer record, run under 11 seconds. And then I wanted to break the interscholastic record, which was 10:41, but uh, fell up quite a little short. I ran 10:03, but it was wind aided, and then I didn't run that fast at OFSA my senior year because we ran to a headwind. So that missed that one, and then I got hurt in the 200 from my hamstring, so I couldn't break that record. But those are my goals. Then if he needs to reach to the top, man, I would just take it step by step, man. I wouldn't even think about getting to the professional level if you're in high school. I'd just think high school, definitely go to college, and then from college, then you worry about being professional. But take it step by step. Offers a great place to get recruited, great opportunity for you to get noticed. Like I plugged Streamline Athletes earlier, make your profile. It's free, easy to do. A lot of coaches on there set your profile, do all that good stuff. You can get hooked up, find a great college that fits for you, and then go to the next level, kill it in college. At least be an All-American, make the finals. Whether you're D1, D2, fast is fast, so they'll find you if you're good. And guys like Kinney came out of JUCO, so you can definitely make it from anywhere. And then from there, you can worry about the pros. But kill it at OFSA, get recruited, sign up for Streamline Athletes, and hook up with some coaches, go to your college, run your nationals there, do well, and everything will take care of itself. Dejan, do you know who Trani Martinez? I do. I trained with him my first year when I came, and then he went to another group. But I trained with Trinity. Really nice guy. To coach, be an amazing athlete. I think videos about each race and give your fans tips would be a fantastic thing. I try to put as much content as I can and help people. I just don't want to tell myself that or tell people that I'm a coach or like pretend to be one, because it's very nuanced, and track is not an easy thing. Like people have to study this stuff and really apply themselves as coaches. So I don't want to just do people a disservice by just throwing out stuff. But I definitely can tell you what I do and what helps me. So if that helps other people, I'll do that as much as I can. Julian Adkins, how often do you do sled or prowler work, and do you do weight before or after track workout? In the base season, in the fall and early spring, we do sled workouts on Wednesdays. So we do sled pulls and pushes, and progressively add more weight. And we do it like in a drive. So we're drive phasing, working on our acceleration, especially like angles coming out of the block work. And we do weights after track. So we do our workout and then we go to the weight room right after. And that's 4 times a week: Monday, Thursday, upper body; Tuesday, Friday, lower body. RLRL. We are all Canadian. Messed up question. Don't know what it means. Sorry. Matthew Cron, close. Sleds on Wednesday, not Thursday. Conart, what is your training routine in the off season and in season? Honestly, I don't have a training routine really in the off season. I try to give my body as much rest as possible because we hit it really hard in season. So we get a lot of time off. I take that time to recover the body, and then I slowly do some like cardio stuff. I did play basketball, but then I fractured my wrist this past season. A lot of people don't know that because I hit it and I didn't want people to know. But now that season's almost over, I let people know. Playing basketball, I fell on my wrist and had a little fracture, and I was cast to begin the season. So not a great way to start it off. So ball is life, but I might have to chill on that. Maybe just shoot threes and not actually do open runs this off season. Find another way to do cardio. Um, Stefan 88. How was your first Olympics? Loved it. My favorite Olympics. Still. If you watch my Doha Q&A vlog, that was one of the questions. And I answer it there and I go into detail. But my first Olympics was my favorite Olympics. Got to meet so many of my heroes that I was when I was younger. You know, Kobe, LeBron, Michael Phelps, Usain Bolt, Justin Gatlin, Johan Blake. All those guys were there. Serena Williams. Oh, it was just crazy, man. Just be among them, and I was 20 years old. You know, mind blown, man. It was amazing. And production wise, obviously, London always puts on great events. So the UK knows how to put on championships. Definitely the best Olympics by far. I'm 5K kilograms, running high 11s when I was 85. Ran 11:19. Do you reckon I have a future in sprinting? If so, how long will I start to running? See, a question like that, how long will it take start to run 10:3? I can't answer that, man. So many different factors. I don't know your style of running. I don't know your body composition. Um, I don't know what your environment's like, who your coach is. It could vary. You know, everybody's different. You know, we all get to our destination at different points. So it could take you a long time. It could take you quick, depending on how your form is. So I would just say just keep staying with it. You know, you say you ran 11:19, just keep applying yourself, keep getting better season by season, and eventually you should get close to that 10:3. Just want to say thank you for taking time to talk to us. How your team, keep up the great work. You guys are amazing. Much appreciated. Thank you again. Hit that like button if you can hit that. Helps me out. You know, I do this stuff for free. Don't take any money from you guys. I just, you know, hopefully you guys appreciate it. Try to make it enjoyable for you guys. Add to the track and field culture, and help people run faster and get inspired to join track and field because it's a great sport and I want to see it grow. But all I ask, hit that thumbs up button, share it with your friends, and join lives, man. Chat it up. I appreciate all the questions. It's definitely been way more than I was expecting. So shout out to you guys, man. This is awesome. I'm definitely gonna do more live. It seems like there's a lot of interest in this and a lot of people that want to join in. So we'll make this a thing. Desmond McDonald, can I get something signed? Sure. I definitely do giveaways. If you send Athletics Canada mail, like see this right here. Send this to this address. Athletics Canada 2141 Thurston Drive, Suite 105, Ottawa, Ontario, K1G 6C9. This is all mail that they got sent. That is for me to sign. See, this one here is from Germany. Let's open it up, show you guys real quick. So I get things like this all the time sent, right? So it's pictures of me and then like a little letter, asking me to sign it. So if you get it to Athletics Canada, they'll get it to me and I'll sign it. Something like that. And then I'll do a giveaway, and I do giveaways periodically, give away Nike clothes and all that stuff. So definitely keep watching my content and wait for those giveaways. Might catch one and get lucky. All right, I gotta wrap this up, man. Say 4 more minutes, 11:20. I'm gonna cut this off, man. Hour and a half. Did not expect this. Um, I was training with Dennis, who's the funniest person in the training group. Training with Dennis is awesome, man. He's very passionate about the sport. He's very funny himself. He did the sport himself. He was very successful at his level, and he's very knowledgeable, takes it seriously, and you want a coach that's passionate about what they do because they actually care and want to see you be successful. You don't want someone who's just going to come out there, give you workouts, and not care about your success. So training with him is great. Funniest person in the group, Kyrie. Kyrie, yeah. Kyrie's a clown. What's your favorite speed workout? I love doing 120s, man. Coming off the curve, love it, man. It's like a full 100, but you get like a running start. So I love 120s. I also like block days, man, because we talk a lot of trash to each other, and it gets really competitive. Okay, let's see. 3 more minutes. How to stay healthy in 200. I mean, a lot of things, man. Proper hydration, proper nutrition, sleep, body maintenance, proper warm ups, a lot of stuff. I might make a video on that, how to stay healthy in track and field, because it seems like a lot of people deal with injuries, and that'll help. Matthew Karam, do you stretch a bit before practice, or do you just warm up? Yeah. I usually just warm up, but like in the morning or at night, if I can, if I have enough time, I'll try to do some stretching. Definitely helps, static stretching. You don't want to do static stretching too much before you run, like right before, but like at nighttime or in the morning, you can definitely do that. It'll help you out. Dylan Cotton, when it comes to training by yourself with no coach, how do you keep going, stay consistent? Man, that's tough, man. Why don't you have a coach? It's definitely tough. So I wouldn't recommend that at all. You need to have a method to your madness. You need to have someone watching you to clock you and critique you, give you a plan to follow through the year. So you're not just spinning your wheels and doing stuff for the sake of doing it. Like, you definitely want to be an athlete and focus just on being an athlete. You don't want to be an athlete coach. That's definitely something that's very difficult to do. So I would say get with a coach. Um, Not static stretching. Okay, good. Yeah, do dynamic stretching. That's best to do for warm ups, and I do that for sure. In addition to drills, can you show us those Max Fly prototypes? Okay. Uh, Sorry. Honestly, they're deep in my closet. I can't find them. I'll put in a video or something. I'll do it in the next live. But I show them in my unboxing video for 2021, I think it was. I've done a bunch of unboxings, but check out one of those. It's in there. You can see an example of those. How do you get your agent? What criteria to choose a good agent? Oh, that's a very good video idea. I'm definitely going to make one about that. But how do you get your agents? You basically get noticed. You can reach out to agents. There's a way to do that where you can inquire, but to be honest, they're not going to really give you the time of day if they don't feel like you can make the money. Straight up, they're very about their business and their money. So if you're talented enough, they'll come find you. Or your agent can be had by talking to your coach or someone with connections. Another athlete who you might know can put in a good word for you. But to be honest, they're not going to really want to work with you unless you're able to make the money at the professional level. Not anyone business income. What age is too late to start track professionally? I mean, there's no age that's too late. It's just really about how fast you are. If you're fast enough, you can get recruited to be professionally at any age, really. So it depends on you and your body and how fast you can go and when you peak. You ever been to Saskatoon? I haven't. What is your favorite plyometric for speed? I like speed bounds. Do you have a funny Gatlin story? I do, but I don't have that much time to tell it right now, so I'll get back to that later. Verse, you gave me $1. Appreciate that, man. Um, you come back home, we talk to Aim Taylor, honestly, come back in time. So, yeah, I think you mean Angela Taylor. Yeah, I'll definitely come back and try to be in Toronto, be more present there. Your vids and reels are fire. Thank you very much. I put a lot of work into it, so shout out to you. What do you think about JUCO? JUCO is definitely a great route if you have no other option. Like if you can't go D1, JUCO definitely is a good way to go. You can, um, go there, kill it there. If you don't have the grades, work on that, and then work your way around into going D1 and get recruited there. Or you can go straight pro out of there. My teammate Kenny Benerick, he went from JUCO to pro, so it's definitely possible. Guys like Tyson Gay went to JUCO. A lot of great spurs went to JUCO first and ended up, being some of the fastest people out there because they're hungry there. They got to grind. It's not all glamour there. So Andre DeGrasse, another guy that went JUCO before he went to USC. How do you edit your videos? Like your reaction? I use Final Cut Pro. I learned how to use that. So just bring your creativity to it, and it's pretty easy to use. So yeah. The mind of Aaron, the champ himself. Respect, man. Good to see you in the chat. Got no coach, but I got dropping so much time. Okay, keep working. Matthias, Hove, Johannesson, and Aaron are probably the top sprint YouTube channel. I feel like I'm forgetting one though. Appreciate that. I do. I'm not sure who he is, but I'm sure he does great stuff. But I try to do my best. Kev Lucas, do you want to get into coaching in the future? I thought about it, man, but I don't know. I have so many things that I want to do when I'm done track, and even now, I gotta kind of make sure that I bring top quality to whatever I do. So if I'm doing coaching, I kind of have to give all my effort into that. And I don't know if that's really the route I want to go. I might do, I definitely like back and contribute to the track culture in some way, but I don't know if coaching is the way I'm gonna do it. Probably not, unless it's my son. I'll definitely coach him if he wants me to, or if he needs it. How do you qualify for world champions? I don't think getting qualified mark. Um, top 3 at your nationals. That usually helps you, and yeah, having the qualifying. That's usually the only ways, or having a really high ranking. You can get invited that way if you don't already have 3 other sprinters. Larry Domain, Cravon Gillespie. Yeah, Cravon has a good channel. There's a lot of reaction videos. He's got a good thing going there. The Jamaican kid as well was Julian Fort. Julian Fort also has a really good page. So does natural speed matter more? Yes, natural speed is definitely a prerequisite to running fast. You have to have some type of talent. Not everybody can sprint this fast. You have to have good genetics. Would you consider yourself an above freshman sprinter in high school? Above average sprinter, I think he means. Oliver Lojewski. As a freshman, no. Well, I don't know. I ran 11.3 or 11.4, one of those, as a freshman in high school. So, yeah, I think that, well, compared to the States, no, that's trash because people are man-childs in the States. But in Canada, yeah, that was pretty good. I finished 4th at OSA, but I definitely think I did pretty good and got a lot faster and showed potential, especially because I didn't really train. Love you, gang. Have a good night. You too, man. Take care. I got to get out of here too, man. I got to go to sleep. I usually go to bed at like 11, so I push the envelope for you guys. Fry, come down to Phoenix, Toronto sometime. Definitely will do. Victor TNA, TAF. Will you be running in here during class next year? I don't know. See if it lines up with my schedule. I definitely love to. I've ran there a bunch of times, and it's always great. Canadian fans always show love, so want to run in front of Canada as much as possible. So definitely would love to do that. I will be at nationals in BC, so at least I'll be able to see the Canadian fans there out west. Yeah, all right. Good place to end it. Thank you everybody for showing up to this live. This is definitely way more than I expected. I did not expect to be on here this long. I actually had a whole list of questions I was going to get to. I didn't answer any of those because all I had was questions from the chat. Try to get to as many as I could, but I'm gonna do this more often. Definitely give me that thumbs up on this video. Help me out. And if you have more questions, leave it in the chat or send me a message directly on one of my videos. Like I said, I got more videos coming out. I got the Monaco vlog, the Budapest vlog. I got the 100-meter reaction from Worlds. I got my 200-meter reaction. So a lot of content coming. So, subscribe, like, all that stuff, that good stuff. I got more content coming for you. Follow me on Instagram and TikTok, Kingsley SC. I put out content there. But yeah, we'll keep this thing going. I'll do another live in the future since so many people came out and great questions. Really appreciate that. Peace. Have a good night, everybody.